She was 13 years old when the voices started. They told her she was chosen. Told her to pick up a sword. Told her to lead an army into battle and save a dying kingdom. And here's the terrifying part. She actually did it. This is part 1 of the Joan of Arc story. And it's more unbelievable than any fiction you've ever heard. The year is 1425. France is being destroyed. The 100 Years' War has ravaged the country for nearly a century. English armies control half of France. The French king is weak, hiding, practically defeated. The country is weeks away from total collapse. In a tiny village called Dauphin, there's a peasant girl named Joan. She can't read, can't write, spends her days tending sheep in the fields. She's nobody. She's nothing. And then, one summer afternoon, everything changes. Joan is standing in her father's garden when she hears a voice. Not in her head. She hears it, clear as day, coming from above. She looks up and sees a blinding light. In that light, 3 figures appear. Saint Michael, Saint Catherine, Saint Margaret, and they speak to her. Joan, they say, you have been chosen by God. France is dying, and you are the one who will save it. You will crown the true king. You will lead armies. You will restore France to glory. She's 13 years old, a peasant girl, being told by divine voices to save an entire kingdom. Most people would think they were going insane. Most people would tell no one. But Joan believes them completely. For the next 4 years, the voices keep coming. They give her instructions. They tell her what's coming. They prepare her for a mission that seems absolutely impossible. And when Joan turns 17, the voices give her a final command. It's time. Go to the Dauphin. Tell him God has sent you. The Dauphin, Charles VII, is the rightful heir to the French throne, but he's never been crowned. He's weak, indecisive, and hiding in his castle while his country burns. Joan has to convince this man, a prince who's never met her, who has no reason to trust a peasant girl, that God sent her to lead his armies. It's an insane plan. But she goes anyway. Joan leaves her village with nothing but the clothes on her back and an unshakable belief that God is on her side. She walks for 11 days through enemy territory to reach the Dauphin's castle. 11 days, a teenage girl, completely alone, crossed a war-torn country. She shouldn't have survived. But she does. When she finally arrives at the royal court in Chinon, the guards laugh at her. A peasant girl claiming to have a message from God. They've seen 1,000 con artists. They've heard every lie. But Joan doesn't back down. I need to see the Dauphin, she says. God sent me to save France. The guards think it's a joke. But word reaches the Dauphin, and he's curious. Maybe amused. Maybe desperate enough to listen to anyone. So he agrees to meet her, but he decides to test her first. When Joan enters the throne room, the Dauphin isn't sitting on his throne. He's hidden himself among the crowd, dressed like a common nobleman. Another man is sitting on the throne, pretending to be the king. It's a trick. If Joan really is sent by God, she should know who the real Dauphin is, right? Joan walks into the room. 50 men staring at her. She's never seen the Dauphin before. She has no idea what he looks like. But she walks straight past the fake king on the throne. She walks directly to a man standing in the corner. She kneels before him. Gentle Dauphin, she says, I am Joan, sent by the King of Heaven. God has commanded me to lead your armies, lift the siege of Orléans, and see you crowned king in Reims. The room goes silent. How did she know? The Dauphin is stunned. He takes her aside and speaks with her privately for hours. What she tells him, no one knows. Those conversations were never recorded. But when they emerge, the Dauphin's entire demeanor has changed. He believes her. Against all logic, against the advice of his counselors, against every reasonable instinct, he believes her. He gives her armor. He gives her a sword. He gives her an army. A 17-year-old peasant girl is about to lead French soldiers into battle. May 1429. The city of Orléans has been under English siege for 7 months. It's on the verge of collapse. If Orléans falls, France falls. Every French military commander has failed to break the siege. And then Joan arrives. She rides into the French camp in full armor, carrying a banner with the words, Jesus, and Maria, stitched in gold. The soldiers don't know what to make of her. A girl, leading them into battle. But Joan doesn't ask for their approval. God has sent me to win this battle, she says. Follow me, and we will break this siege. And something extraordinary happens. The soldiers, hardened warriors, veterans of 100 battles, start to believe her. Maybe it's her conviction. Maybe it's desperation. Maybe it's something else. But they follow her. On May 7th, Joan leads the assault on the English fortifications. She's at the front of the charge, climbing ladders, rallying her troops, fearless. An English arrow strikes her in the shoulder. She falls. Blood pours from the wound. The French soldiers panic. Their leader is down. The battle is lost. But Joan pulls the arrow out herself. She ties a bandage around the wound. And she gets back on her horse. Follow me, she screams. God is with us. The French soldiers surge forward. The English, terrified and confused, begin to retreat. By the end of the day, the siege is broken. Orléans is free. A 17-year-old girl has just accomplished what the entire French army couldn't do in 7 months. News of the victory spread like wildfire. Joan of Arc becomes a legend overnight. The Maid of Orléans, the warrior sent by God. Over the next 2 months, she wins battle after battle. Town after town falls to the French. The English, who seemed invincible, are in full retreat. On July 17, 1429, Joan stands beside the Dauphin in the Cathedral of Reims as he is crowned King Charles VII of France. She's done it. The voices were right. A peasant girl has saved France. Joan of Arc is now the most famous person in France. Songs are written about her. People call her a saint. She's untouchable, unstoppable. But here's the thing about legends. The higher you rise, the harder you fall. And Joan's enemies, the English, the Burgundians, even members of the French court who resent her power, are already planning her destruction. Within a year, Joan will be captured, sold, put on trial for heresy and witchcraft. And what happens to her next is one of the darkest chapters in history. But that's part 2. If you want to know how the hero of France became the most hated woman in Europe, hit subscribe. Part 2 drops in 2 days. Because this story is far from over.